Hello everybody, how's it going? This is Rob Holmes with Veterans AAR. Today I'd like to discuss with you, are assault rifles real? The answer to that question, if you said yes, is you're correct. But also, I'd like to say that if you have a reservation on the definition that we have, you're also correct. So it's not always completely 100% true. By the end of this segment, I want you to know how to identify what actual assault rifles are, as well as identifying other firearms that have been mistakenly identified as assault rifles. All right, let's just go ahead and dig right in. So, to understand what the classification is for an assault rifle, we need to also understand the basics. So, I need to take you through the basic classifications of firearms. Okay, so the first basic classification of firearm I want you to be aware of is the rifle classification of firearm. The rifle classification of firearm is, and I'll read it off to you, is a rifle is a shoulder-fired weapon that can discharge a bullet through a rifled barrel chamber 16 inches or longer. So it has to have a rifle cartridge, rifle barrel, 16 inches or longer, shoulder fired. That's the definition of a rifle. Okay, so let's go on to the next one, which is a carbine. Carbine has the same characteristics. It has to be a rifle cartridge, has to be fired from the shoulder. The difference is a carbine has a barrel under 16 inches of length. All right, pretty important things to know because it does affect in terms of the definition of an assault rifle. All right, the next thing I want you to be aware of is the submachine gun class. I hate that term. I think it's kind of like the assault rifles. It's not really clear on what it's talking about because if you know it, like me being a military guy, what a machine gun is, it's a belt-fed, fully automatic, open bolt. So it has different characteristics than what a submachine gun has. So it's kind of disingenuous to call it that. I guess, because it sounds cool is why they went with that definition. But the definition if it would have been realistic, it would have been called a fully automatic subsonic rifle. Doesn't really sound as cool, right? So, yeah, exactly. So it really didn't work so well because it's basically just the pistol version of a machine gun, if you want to call it that. I don't whatever. So anyway, yeah. So there's a submachine gun class that you got to be aware of as well. Those three are important there. I'm not going to go over every single class. You don't need to know about shotguns or pistols and what those break down to, or machine pistols. Those are just different classifications in there that don't need to be brought up because assault rifles are really not going to fit in any of those anyway. Okay, so now let's go on to assault rifles. So with the assault rifles, you have rifle. I'm going to read the whole definition because it's extremely important for you guys to know why that definition is important. Okay, so assault rifles are capable of firing single or automatic fire using an intermediate cartridge, which is a rifle cartridge, right? And the big key takeaway there is automatic fire, right? Remember that. Providing accurate fire and more controllable recoil force than a standard rifle cartridge. By reducing the cartridge case and propellant, the cartridge weigh less and soldiers can carry more. These shorter rifles were developed in response to the recognition that most firefights take place at ranges under 400 yards. All right, so and that's part of the key takeaway to this. The small size of the assault rifle and its ability to fire up to 800 rounds per minute has led to it being adopted by various forces as a replacement for the submachine gun. All right, now if you look at the definition of a submachine gun, it is basically a short-barreled rifle that fires fully. It's a select fire, right? It's going to go into semi or full auto, and it shoots pistol cartridges. That's a submachine gun. So the only difference between the submachine gun and the assault rifle is the cartridge. I know, right? When did this come up? So what you have to understand is it has to meet, in order for it to be an assault rifle, has to have every single one of those things I've read off to you. Now, because if it's not, it falls under the other classifications of firearms that I just told you about. So if it is let's say I have an AR, for example, and the AR-15 that I own It's only single shot, right? It's a full barreled 16-inch barrel rifle, right? And it only fires single shot. Does that necessitate the definition of a assault rifle? And if you should say no, because it's missing automatic. So it's not by definition an assault rifle in any way. It's a rifle. And if you ever look at the main battle rifle for the U.S. Marine Corps, you look at the TM manual, you will see that at the top it calls it a rifle, because that's exactly what it is. Even if it has a 3-round burst, right? Because it's 16-inch barrel, fires in burst, which is not fully automatic. All right, fires 3 rounds. So by definition, I have never owned an assault rifle. I've been issued an assault rifle. Well, not, excuse me, let me back up. Well, I have, but technically, but I haven't gotten to that part yet. So the M16A4 is not an assault rifle. All right, but let's talk about the M4 now, the Carbine. All right, is that short barrel? Yes, it is. It's a short barreled rifle, right? Less than 16 inches in length. All right, so I own M4 in terms of the civilian version, which doesn't have full automatic. So it is not an assault rifle. Now, if you have a military rifle, that's an M4 that is fully automatic, then that can be coined by definition as an assault rifle, because as long as it's the fully automatic one and it's a carbine, that is in itself the assault rifle, right? If you go back and you're wondering like, well, how does that work? Well, the Sturmgewehr 44 was named the storm rifle. It's the first one. It's the Godfather. Hitler named himself, okay, because of exactly what I told you, or what I read to you earlier, which was that they wanted a rifle version of the submachine gun. So it has to meet those two definitions. All right, it's either the characteristics I told you about, or it is a submachine gun with a rifle cartridge. It has to have either of those two things. That's why it's very imperative that you can't take things out of context. The only true rifle right now that is called it's called an assault rifle, and it's in its name, is the Scar L. All right, or the Scar series in general. Okay, the Scar series in general, because they have shorter barrels, they're fully automatic rifles. That's it. So if you ever want to look up your information, look it up. You can Google it, download a copy of it, of your operator's manual. If it's a military rifle, even if it's an AR-15 or something like that, it's still very similar characteristics to the ARs. Well, hopefully you guys have learned something today. I know it. I learned a lot because I had to do a lot of reading for this. Again, my name is Rob, and if you want to make some comments in the bottom, make some comments in the bottom. If you like this video, please give it a like. If you know people who you would like to know this information, please share it with them. I want everybody to know exactly what the term assault rifle is, so that we can start fact-checking all the other people out there that are using it incorrectly, especially the media. The media uses it all the time when it's, in fact, false. It's the same thing when it goes to legislation. They've bastardized the definition so bad to try to fit every single AR and every rifle that can possibly get into it to ban these things. And that's disingenuous to everybody. So do me a favor and share this with everybody so everybody knows what it is. So we'll stop fighting with each other online, about what an assault rifle is. I'm explaining it to you. And if you still don't understand it, leave a comment in the bottom, because I can probably, tell you how it breaks down. But at the same time, as long as you know those basic classifications of firearms, you'll be all right. All right, you'll figure it out. That's the big thing that they don't want you to know. They just want to classify everything as make it the primary classification. So rifles are assault rifles, so that they can include every single one of those when they try to do a ban on them. So I'll catch you next time on our next segment. Hey, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you later. Veterans AAR, out of here.